Welcome to Open Matters, the Setfords Podcast. Yes, we're back with a bigger budget version of this podcast than you've ever seen before. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see we have a logo, we have microphones, we have a studio, but we had that anyway. So yeah, they've given us more money, but they haven't taken us off air yet, which is great. I am joined today by Alastair Sinclair, who is a senior consultant at Setfords, and he's hopefully going to talk to me a little bit about your practice area, which I believe is matrimonial matters and litigation.
Yes, that's right, Eric.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the world of matrimony. What's going on there, and is it that time of year? Is there a seasonality in terms of peaks in divorces?
I mean, it's often said that, I suppose, significant times like Christmas generate a lot of a lot of cracks in relationships, I suppose, because there's more pressure, even though everybody wants it to be a lovely family time. The reality is that, you know, if there are cracks in a relationship, there's a lot more pressure on it, and you know, they might grow. So I suppose after Christmas, classically, it's known as the time when there may be more divorces, more people inquiring about it.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard there are some trends, and you can understand how that would happen. As a lawyer working in that field, how do you approach that? Is it, because I guess it sort of can be quite intense. What's your sort of preparation for something like that?
Well, it is intense work, of course, because there's nothing more fundamental than your family life, your children. As an approach, well, I think initially people, when they come to speak to you, they're often in a state of distress. They want answers and they want certainty, and you can't give that actually at the very beginning of a matter, because there are so many factors to work out and how it's going to feed into that. So it's not something you can give them, but you can reassure them of one thing, Eric, that if you follow the process, we will come to a conclusion. And in fairness, you know, there are lots of urban myths about, you know, people taking their shirt off the husband or whatever. You know, that is an urban myth, of course, because the court would never approve an order which was fundamentally unfair. Yeah. So there will be a solution, and that solution needs to be practical.
Yeah. And is empathy a sort of a part of how you approach these kinds of matters? I mean,
empathy is there's sympathy and there's empathy, and I think empathy comes with communicating more understanding to a client than perhaps sympathy does. Obviously, you are sympathetic to people's situations, but you know, if you're an empathetic person, you feel it, and that's why in my matters, when we're going through the process, it's we is the term I use. What are we going to do? Because you know, we are collectively a team together.
Yeah, and you're obviously with these people for quite some time. These aren't sorted out quickly. I mean, maybe sometimes, but you're on a journey, aren't you?
We're on a big journey, and it depends. I mean, some of the matrimonial financial issues, yes, you can be on quite a journey. You could be on a 2-year journey, but by the end of it with that. Sometimes, not always, the children issues, they can be a very long journey. Yeah. They could be, a recent journey I had was 5 years, believe it or not.
Really?
5 years, yeah. It took us 5 years to get to a position whereby, you know, grandparents could see their grandchild.
Right. Because, of course, there is a sort of a wider network, isn't there, around a couple. You mentioned children, you mentioned grandparents. There's sometimes, you know, people maybe wanting to move abroad and things like that.
That's right. There are, you know, if you do want to move abroad with your children, if you're separated or divorced, you will need permission, consent, at least from your partner, but you might need permission of the court to do so. And yes, the wider family network, I think it's a bit of a hobby horse of mine, but grandparents, they're more involved than they've ever been before in families. They often provide, you know, support whilst the parents go out to work. So their role isn't, you know, Saturday afternoon around at grandma and granddad's house, you know, eating stuff that your parents wouldn't allow you to do. It's much more involved, and of course when parties separate, sometimes one party, one parent will not be happy for the grandparents to have the same level of involvement, or sometimes no involvement at all.
Yeah. So this is an area of law that you've been involved with for quite some time, am I right?
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah. And what led you into that sort of legal career path?
Well, I think I remember I started working in a firm which was a criminal law firm, but in those days, yes, it was criminal, but I was predominantly involved in that. But there was an offshoot from that, of course, because there were lots of family issues arising out of that kind of situation. So I kind of began to go down that track, and crime, obviously, as we often say in law, doesn't pay anymore. So, that's the track I ended up going down.
Yeah. And so I think you're quite new with us, aren't you? Is that right?
Yeah,
what is this,
right.
week 6, 7, something like that?
6 or 7, I think, Eric, although it feels like I've been here forever.
Same for me too. I've been here for 8 months, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing. It's one of those places where, you can quickly sort of bed in and find your place. I found that.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have too. So what's it been like settling in with us? How has that journey been?
I think, it's been a positive journey for me. I describe myself as my work I pursued quite traditionally. I think I had a secretary, and I would dictate. I did my own emails, but she would actually process the work, I suppose. And obviously it was a leap of faith to come here thinking, oh my goodness me, I'm going to be doing all of that myself. And but somebody did say to me that fortune favours the brave, so I took the leap. But what I have found out is that actually the support is here in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Well, not in the same way, because it's not one person. So but what you do discover is you find the pathways to find that support that you need. And the interesting thing about that is that when you find that pathway, so if you, for example, need a court bundle to be done, which can be a big document, that's done by the bundle team, who are incredibly efficient. In fact, they're so efficient that 2 weeks ago they put together a 400-page bundle. I dictated it at 3:15, and it was with the judge by 10 o'clock. And that surprised me. So I have found that even though I'm using different pathways rather than one person, the quality of the work is so far has been exceptional.
I mean, that's good to hear, because obviously I work in marketing and communications, and often, I kind of get to hear sort of criticisms about, the fee share firm sector. I mean, we don't really call ourselves a fee share firm. We provide legal services in the same way as other law firms. We're regulated in the same way, and we really work hard to try and provide a great working environment for people like yourself. And so, it's good to hear that first-hand experience. What made you sort of look at consultancy as an option?
So I think, I've been in the law for over 20 years, and I've been a partner in a couple of firms, and I suppose I know the traditional model quite well. But like many people, COVID was a catalyst in so many ways. It accelerated the development of technology for lawyers almost overnight. And I think when COVID hit, I mean, I never worked from home. I never worked from home. When COVID hit, we all went to work from home. And all of a sudden, we discovered how we could work remotely from home. We could dictate, we could still get documents produced. The paper files began to diminish because you were all on the cloud, you're in technology. Yeah. And so we discovered that there was another way, and actually what you did discover was that the people, it was easier to do, greater fee income. It was you didn't have to travel. All of those things began to make me think, and many other people think, is there a different way of doing it? And I think when you're running an office as a lawyer, your primary role, which is the law, looking after clients, gets to a certain extent diminished, but also it gets squeezed. The time you spend on the matter gets squeezed by that. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I didn't come into this to not be a lawyer to be a manager in inverted commas. It was being a lawyer, going to court, seeing clients. Those were the things I wanted to do, and I suppose it fed into that for me. I thought as a consultant, I could do all of those things, and I could refocus on that side of things without the extraneous pressures,
because that's presumably where your passion lies. That's what's fulfilling about your job, isn't it? You want to work with clients and you want to get the best outcome for them that you can.
That's right, because I'm of course there's the monetary side of things and the benefits in that way, but primarily I want to help people, and I do want to enable them to go forward with their lives, and I see that's my role. Wonderfully
ironically, though, obviously we promote a very strong remote working message, and that's attractive to a lot of people. However, you're in the office a lot. I see you around all the time.
No, I am around all the time.
But the choice is yours. You don't have to be here, but you choose to be here.
No. Well, I suppose that's right. I kind of, because, as I've already said, I was not technically very adept in an administrative kind of function. I kind of thought that, well, the best way of learning the system and how to do things is actually to be present. And therefore, if, for example, I had an issue, a technical issue or a secretarial type issue, I could literally, and I do, pick up the phone, speak to Liam invariably, poor chap, and ask him a very stupid question, and he's more than happy to help me. And that's part of the reason I came, was that. The other part of the reason was that I suppose when I came into the environment, so Hamish shows me about, and actually, to be perfectly honest, I was quite wowed by it. And it felt a very positive vibe. And I think, for me, as an individual, working in such a positive environment is beneficial to the way I go about my work.
Yeah, no, I mean, we sit on the same floor, so, you're sort of gregarious and sociable with the teams. And that's great to see, actually, because very often in my role, we speak or email consultants who are, many miles away. So actually having someone like yourself who's in, and we can talk, and it's quite easy to do that. Setting up this conversation for the podcast, really very simple. So it's good to have you around, and you clearly enjoy your banter with the team, which is great.
Yeah, which is good. But that's what I mean. The other thing is Setfords. The office, and when you're in it, it's clear that everybody's here to help.
Yeah,
it's there to enable you to do the work. That's their role.
Yeah,
and to a woman, to a man, they have all helped me immeasurably.
Oh, that's good to hear. I mean, you've mentioned Liam from IT and Hamish, of course, who Hamish Savin, who we will talk to at some point on one of these podcasts, is the sort of the shop window from a recruitment perspective. He was your sort of gateway into the.
He was.
And what were your interactions with him like?
So. Somebody gave me an email address because they'd spoken to Hamish. So I emailed Hamish and I had a conversation with him. And I liked him. He's very straightforward, Hamish. He's very sincere, and it was very helpful. He anything asked him, he if he didn't know it, he'd find out. It was good. It was really good. I felt really positive.
That's good. So outside of law and outside of work, I think you sort of you betrayed a confidence yesterday when you popped in here to see all this equipment. Got rather wowed by microphones and mixers. You clearly love a bit of music, I gather.
Yeah, that's right, a bit of music. I like to play the guitar, the electric guitar. I was in a band, and sort of lockdown kind of locked down my last band, and we haven't kind of managed to get it going again. But so playing guitar, amplifiers, all that kind of stuff, all this kind of is the thing I like.
There's a rumour you're getting a Setfords band together.
I think I've found all the necessary components, Eric. It's just a question of galvanising that.
And you can tell already we've got the equipment to record that legendary first album.
That's right, I can see that, and there's something on the mixing desk as we speak. Yes.
So before we finish and draw to a close, Alastair, I mentioned to you previously, but we like to play a game
Oh, yes.
On this podcast called What's in Your Backpack.
Yes.
The rules are, assuming that in this virtual backpack, the things that you need, like a laptop and a phone and a charger and all that stuff, is in there, notebook, pen. What we're after is 3 things that you would have in there that you can't possibly live without when you're remote working, when you are remote working, that is. And so 2 of them could probably fit in a backpack.
Yeah.
But this backpack might also be TARDIS-like, so you could have something that defies the laws of physics.
Yeah.
So, Alastair Sinclair, what's in your backpack? Go.
Well, at a very boring practical level, I have things like an Ethernet cable.
Okay.
That's very boring. I
Practical.
also have chocolate, which is quite important because you've got to keep your energy levels up.
Dark or milk?
Milk chocolate.
Okay.
Large bar of generally.
Nice.
Because once you start, you can't stop, can you? You need
can't.
to feel sated when you do that.
Absolutely.
So I've got that. I've also got a crystal ball.
A crystal ball?
Crystal ball, yeah.
Okay. Any particular reason?
Yeah, because I think as lawyers, we're always trying to see into the future.
Okay.
So you need to consult with your crystal ball.
I like what you did there.
Yeah.
Okay. So an Ethernet cable,
I
a
think
giant bar of milk chocolate,
a crystal ball,
and a crystal ball.
But I would also, if I had 4, I'd also have a Fender Stratocaster guitar, but that won't fit in my backpack.
It could fit in this backpack.
Yeah.
We might let you have 4 things. How
4
about-
things, yeah.
Take the
Why
guitar.
not? Why not? I'll take
You're
the
going to need
guitar.
it for the band.
I am good for the Setfords band.
Absolutely. Alastair Sinclair, it's been an absolute joy talking to you.
Thank you.
For joining us on Open Matters, and I'm sure I'll see you around the office. So have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Open Matters with me, Eric Woollard-White. Can't get that in enough. Sorry about that. We are doing double unsung heroes today. So we are joined now by Chloe Fawkes from Legal Secretaries at Setfords. Really important engine room of the business. Hello, Chloe.
Yeah, hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. You did describe this just a minute ago as it's just a chat with Eric.
Chat with Eric, yeah.
Absolutely, that's what it is. So for the benefit of people listening and some watching perhaps on YouTube, talk us through a normal day in the life of your job.
Day in the life. Well, I always start the morning with putting my files away. So that's very important. And then we just start. We just straight onto Big Hand, logging on, clicking on dictations, and then I get my little sticky note out and I write all my references down, and then go off, grab them, do them, repeat. Really.
That sounds intense.
It's very routine, but I like it.
Yeah. Because you've been with us for a while.
3 years in August it was, yeah.
Yeah, I saw your post on LinkedIn
Yeah.
celebrating your time with us, which is great.
Yeah, it's very good.
So Big Hand, what does that do?
So Big Hand is where all the consultants put their dictations up of work that they'd like us to do. So it's got like new files to be opened, like invoices, exchanges, just any sort of work that they need us to do, because obviously we have the physical files. They can put on, please can you do this for us? We'll go grab it, do it, and then we can mark that as complete and send them a little email saying this is all done for you. And so it's just basically our little kind of software, I guess, that has everything for us to be doing.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's really integral to a consultant's working day. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I'd say so, definitely, because if, say, something is not dated on time, that could affect the matter, push it back in terms of exchanges or completions.
Yeah.
So I definitely say it's very important.
Yeah. And how many of you work in legal secretaries?
Oh, I'd have to do like a little count.
Go on, a little mental
1, 2,
note.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 20 of us, I think, in office. And then there's a few more people at home. I definitely want to say it's just under 30. That would be my estimate, I think.
That is a big, chunky group of support for the
Definitely.
company. So, consultants are really on a daily, hourly, probably minute-by-minute basis, really reliant on everything that you do in that team.
Yeah, definitely, I think so.
And is that the job that you started with when you joined Setfords?
No, so when I started, I actually was a admin assistant, like the scanning and the filing. I'd wanted to get out of working in a restaurant, and then I always had an interest in law because I did it for A-level.
Yeah.
And I saw the role for scanning and filing, administrative assistant, and it said this is a really good role if you want to start at the bottom and work your way up for the company. And I thought that's perfect. So yeah, started just doing the scanning and the filing, and then worked my way up through admin, and then now secretaries.
And so how long have you been in secretaries then?
Just over a year.
Just over
it was
a
a
year.
year in August.
And
yeah.
you're, well, judging by your post in August, you are enjoying that, right?
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's really good.
And where do you hope to get to? What's your ambition? You said you did law. Is that sort of is that on the horizon for you?
I never went to uni. It didn't quite work out, but I'm perfectly happy at the moment staying in secretaries. Like, I'm perfectly comfortable. I really enjoy the job. I enjoy the people. So I'm just chilling, really. I'm just staying put for now. I've got
I bet you're not. It sounds like you're super busy.
Well, a bit, not chilling in terms of the work, but just like in the role. In your
career.
I'm perfectly comfortable.
That's good. So do you have much interaction with our consultants in terms of they get to know you, talk to them, that kind of stuff? How do they sort of encounter you directly? Do they speak to you on a daily basis?
I speak to, quite a couple. Where I've been moved on to doing COTS now in secretaries, I feel like I get a lot more interaction, like phone calls and more emails. But yeah, every day we send emails. So I think there is a lot of constant communication there, which is good. So
they will recognise you from this podcast.
I hope so, yeah.
Putting a face
to a name,
watching on YouTube or a voice. Yeah, a voice. So that's good. So talk to us a little bit about, you've been here for 3 years. What do you like about Setfords? I mean, I see you at the book club. I love that.
Yes, love book club.
I know you love that as well. What do you like about being at Setfords?
The main thing is the people. I've got such a great group of friends here, and everyone, even across the whole company, gets on well with everyone. I could walk past anyone, I think, in the corridors and be like, hi. So I love the people. It's a really good group of people, and I love the work. Every day's different. I know everyone probably says that, but it is whatever dictation you click on, it can be completely different. So I just find it really interesting and routined.
Okay.
Yeah.
You like a routine?
Yeah, I definitely like a routine.
I like a routine as well. I like a routine. So book club, I just mentioned.
Yes.
You're a huge, prolific reader, aren't you?
Yeah.
What's your current sort of book count for the year?
I think last time I checked, I started getting back into reading end of January. Since then, I've read, I think, 54 books now. I think I'm on 54.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's a scary number.
Yeah, because I don't drive, do I? So I can sit on the train every morning and bash out 30 to 50 pages.
I am just beginning to feel the benefits of that, actually. I've just started coming in by train a couple of days a week.
Yeah.
So have you started The Humans, the current book club book?
Yeah, I started that this morning. I'm on page 50. It's not my type of thing. I'm more, murder, kind of true crime. But
yes.
I think it's clever, the way it's been written from, the aliens' perspective. But I haven't formed a solid opinion on it yet. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, no, I think I'm with you there. So, I mean, Setfords provides an awful lot of things to do. Our consultants also have their own book club as well.
Yeah.
So, there's a real variety of things for them to sort of join into. And obviously, as a representative of legal secretaries, you're giving that team a big shout. So, well done for that. So, Chloe, thank you very much for joining us on Open Matters. It's been delightful talking to you. We really love what you do. I know our consultants love what you do. So thank you for that.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.